Do you see any scenario where Gareth Southgate, either of you, ends up as the manager of Liverpool? Klopp leaves, they get Southgate in, and we get our act together. City get done for their 115 charges, and the world's our oyster. Jay Hibb, Stretford, Paddock. This is Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Stephen Howson. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, you?
Yeah, I'm alright, man. I'm good. I like your attire. I like it. It's bright, it's colourful. Like you.
It's waxed as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's waxed.
What does that add to the...
Wax, yeah, wax.
Waterproof. All right, good stuff. Also, as well, are you making your Off the Bar debut?
I don't know. I'm on here all the time.
You are actually. You were on, quite a lot, but I don't think you've been on Off the Bar before.
Okay, then.
Right, we'll call it.
Is there an initiation I need to do?
No, not really. Just try and keep me and him on topic. That's your initiation.
Yeah. Why do I get the hardest task?
That's unlike the brew, this sort of is meant to go on topic.
Right, okay. It's kind of, So
right.
If you can, just try and steer us back onto at least football.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to necessarily keep us on the topic of the thumbnail or what we might have been talking about. But if you don't do that, he's at Scotty, Dave Scott, my good friend. We're going to be chatting a little bit. I don't even want to say England, because I know you don't care about England. You definitely don't care about England, and I don't really. But we do care.
So let's talk about England.
No, we do care about Kobbie Mainoo, though.
So you decided on orange for the book cover, yeah?
Yes, orange.
Oh, have you?
But it's gone with the original, with the other photo.
What's the other photo?
So the woman who stood outside like the laundry.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's if you don't know what we're on about.
Who suggested blue?
Two people.
And why didn't you put the two and two together?
Yeah,
because
you got a book called Mancunians, and it's in like sky blue.
In my defence,
all them six-fingered helmets down there, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, in my
defence, and go.
I've been on a lot of morphine. I've been on a lot of morphine recently, Steve. So that was sort of like judging.
Sometimes you put it out there. You know, like when Vladimir Putin has a vote.
Oh, by the way, that's not as like a recreational thing.
Yeah.
I think we do need to state that on this show.
He's not taking
post-surgery, not post-crack house.
Yeah. But do you know, like when Vladimir Putin has a vote, and it's not really a vote, is it? Because wait. I mean, I thought it'd be controversial here.
Well, I think you have to say allegedly.
Allegedly, it might not be an actual vote. It might just be, people pretending to vote because he's won anyway. We all know that. I kind of feel that's what he was doing with that blue thing. Maybe. I don't really think that there was ever a chance you were going to put a blue cover on.
No, as soon as it was brought to my attention, I think you said it, didn't you?
Immediately.
Yeah. I didn't think I looked. You just went, "Can you retweet this?" And I just did it.
Yeah.
Without looking, and I looked and I was like,
"Well, I saw it," and he's like, "What colour?" Well, it's not blue.
If you don't know what book we're on about, by the way, it's Mancunians by David Scott, and it features.
Both of us.
Yep. So it's the best.
And him a bit as well.
Ever. Yeah, you're in it a little bit. There's loads of chapters on me instead. It's meant. Go and check it out. Right, let's talk about Kobbie Mainoo.
Nearly. How long do we get there then?
You did well there. You did. Because I feel like we're in a stage where it's almost impossible to overhype him because he is that good. And I feel like because we've been
pretty damn good in it.
Yeah, we've been here before with some players. We've all gone early on young players and gone, oh, he's going to be this, that, and the other. But
I don't think they've ever moonwalked, because that's the only way he's danced in there. By the way, he's just moonwalked into the England team. So I was trying to find yesterday and I couldn't find it, but I was pretty sure there was a quote from Southgate like a fortnight ago where he went, "He's not in my team, and here's why." Yeah. Did I invent that, or was there?
I'm pretty sure. Well, didn't you tweet it?
At
was
the time?
Not you?
There was something like not ready, making the steps up, wasn't it?
It was something like that, I thought. I saw that.
Because the Liverpool fans had jumped on it at the time about Harvey Elliott and all this other nonsense. I thought it was you. It must be someone else. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure because you are going back and forth with a lot of scouts at the minute. Yeah, where...
It's 2010.
Yeah, sorry. 2010, late starter.
That's when I came on Twitter.
Right, well, okay, fair enough. Where he said something like that and the scouts had sort of jumped on it, or Liverpool fans had been like, oh yeah, he's not ready or whatever. Obviously he was. And he didn't just play well, he shone. Player of the match.
So he's gone from, this is what I wanted to do, I wanted to almost do the steps of Southgate going, he's not ready for whatever reason it was, or whatever it actually is that he said. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. To, let me give him a couple of minutes. Yeah. To, fuck me, he might have been the best player in that 20 minutes. Like, he almost completed as many passes as Gallagher did.
In the
entire game. Yeah. And he was on for 20 minutes. And you go, okay. And England, by the way, did not have the ball all that much when it was on the pitch either, because Brazil was dominating it a little bit. So then he forces his way in, starts, gets man of the fucking match.
Unreal. Like, is that performance as well? Because it's funny because...
What's he missing, a goal?
when he had that chance.
Yeah.
I don't really care about England, but when he had that chance, I was like, I almost screamed when I thought he was going to
Me and
score.
Ronnie was on the way to training when England was on the other night, right? And we both, on our phones, had the England game on. And Ronnie was like, look at us.
I know. Like that meme with Paul Rudd. Look at who'd have thought it.
He's like, I would never watch an England
No.
game. I was like, honestly, couldn't give a toss. Meanwhile,
Yeah, that was like my missus said to me when Mainoo really scored. I went like, I acted like it was United. I went, go on, oh, and she's like, I've never seen you like this with England, even when it's been like a Euros final or whatever. I've not been that giddy, but with him, I'm just like, and part of it was relief because I know how good he is, but I thought if he makes a mistake, there's so many people who are dying for him to make.
But
a
the
mistake.
fact he's already got hate,
yeah,
and people are trying to downplay what they did. They're scared, Jay.
Yeah, terrified. He's sensational, though, isn't he? His maturity for was he 18, just to be able to, do that. It reminds me of Rooney in that way. Not his ability on the ball, but just sort of like his composure, and he's like, I'm meant to be here.
Yeah.
Well, you never thought when Rooney got the United job or when he was in England, he was meant to take that place, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's why you can't drop him. He doesn't look out of place at all.
No,
Does he start at the Euros?
100%.
I think he does, yeah.
100%.
I think
Who
he
starts
does.
over him?
I think he does.
He has to.
Yeah, because I think you've got this weird situation with Henderson. Henderson's playing left side centre half at the moment for Ajax in a free.
Jesus, what?
So you can't, according to Southgate's own rules, he changes and goes back on them constantly. That's his thing.
Can we have a look for that Southgate quote, by the way?
But you
someone?
can't-
Can someone see if they can find it, please?
You can't pick Henderson.
Not in a. Not
I
in a-
know
not-
he wants to pick Calvin Phillips, but
Yeah.
even Southgate's gone, fucking hell, can't pick Calvin Phillips.
No.
Maybe, can we get him to play 15 minutes and then I can pick him?
Yeah.
So, in these two friendlies, the best player across both friendlies was fucking Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah. I think the only way I saw Mainoo not starting was if he went with the midfield three, if he put Foden in the 10 or whatever, which I don't think he will now, but if he'd done that and he had Bellingham, Rice and Foden as his three in midfield,
That's
Marcus on the
a
left,
little
or
bit too
Grealish.
spicy
It
for
is.
him.
I agree. I thought that was the only way if you had Grealish and Marcus on the left of the front three.
Them three the other night, though.
But the way they're linking up.
The balance is sensational.
And also, Phil Foden had one of his better games in England shirt. Not that I've watched lots of England, but according to everyone who watched it, that's not a coincidence. All of a sudden, he's linking up with everyone.
Well, it's like all them lesser players around Mainoo are performing better. Bellingham's playing better. Rice.
He's
You
lifted
make
all
a very
the
good point
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He's helped them
So what's mad is
elevate
that
him towards his
United
level.
realistically could have been looking at this as their midfield.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what? That's one of those things where I don't like to admit to myself that that's true. I like to pretend that it was never ever going to happen. Like that, no matter what, Bellingham never would have come. No matter what, Rice never would have come. But you're pretty right. Like we could have had that.
I think if we'd have pushed the boat out proper, because weren't they trying to downplay Fergie's involvement and trying to do all of that sort of stuff? It could have been.
We've got your Gareth Southgate quote. So this is, I presume, before he was picked. He says, "I think that he's doing brilliantly for a young player, and we're never slow to put a young player into seniors. But he's only had a handful of games, and you have to be very careful, development-wise, in making those decisions at the right time. So we think, ideally, we should slow him that space to develop at his own speed. He's not at the point in terms of the number of games that Jude, obviously Bellingham, and Bukayo Saka were when they came in for the first time." And then he went on to say he's great, he's a good footballer, and he's getting some fabulous experience with United at the moment, and he looks a really good character. And then he picked him.
And then he sat there and then he started him.
Yeah, he watched him.
And then he watched him get man of the match. And then he's sitting there going, okay, no.
Can we delete those quotes? Is there an option to erase
What
the
did
things
Kobe
I
Mainoo
said?
do in training? Because we saw some clips from training, and they give you some fluff, don't they? Obviously, they don't see the tactics, they don't see the full 11s. But the bits that we saw in training, he was doing a bit of ratting, he was stopping people playing.
Well, did you
he
see-
obviously impressed enough to get... Because Branthwaite and that have been there and not even got a sniff of a minute. Even though every centre-half decided to get injured on the thing.
And Lewis Dunk was having a bit of a stinker.
And he was like, Branthwaite, that's how Mainoo was going on.
Branthwaite, go run over there, go and get Mainoo for us. Declan Rice before the game, the Belgian game, he was talking about Mainoo in training. And he was saying in training he's been great to play alongside because he plays similar to me, keeps the ball, you can play sort of, even when you've got under pressure and all that, and I'm looking forward to it kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, but you're obviously right. He obviously impressed a lot in training. And you can see the talent of him. And I think he needed that cameo against Brazil just to shut a few people up, just to go, look, he's not going to get overawed by it. He's not going to be a different player for England than he is for United. Because we have seen that with some players. Because even though I think if you play for United, you're good enough to play for England, I think there's still that thing of, it's England, it's a bigger deal in some players' minds, or the pressure's on you a little bit more. So you can get players who don't quite make that step up.
Yeah.
But he obviously can.
Do you think that the Liverpool game was sort of the catalyst then? Because if ever a young player is going to be thrown into a sort of cauldron of chaos, which was Old Trafford during that game, and he kept a calm head, do you know what I mean? You're not going to get that sort of intensity anywhere else as a sort of trial or an audition to get into the England
What was his
team.
first 2 games? Wasn't it Goodison away, St James's away?
Yeah.
Gary Neville said about that. He said that he's played at Goodison, he's played at Anfield, he's played at St James's. If you can play in those grounds at that age, you can play anywhere. And he's right. And going back,
by the way, you're going to do it on your own as well.
Yeah.
Rest of the midfield doesn't realise they play in midfield.
Yeah, we haven't really got one. But what made me laugh about that Liverpool game was it felt like that wasn't a wake-up call for us. We've all been saying this ever since we saw him against Arsenal, or even when we saw him in the academy team.
We were saying this, like, you see the Real Madrid game, we all went, if Mainoo would have stayed on, we'd have probably won that game.
Yeah. When I say Arsenal, I mean the friendly, not nothing else. In fact, he didn't play in the game, did he, in the Premier League? But it was like the rest of the country sort of woke up a little.
Apart from Liverpool.
Who was still...
Who've just decided to hate him now.
Yeah.
Which makes him even better. I love him. I love him even more because Liverpool hate.
I seen like someone clipping up a bit of Harvey Elliott doing a Rabona or something for the under-21s, and it's like, just forget it. You've had your chance. It's over now. Like,
well, listen,
you've
this is what
lost
happens.
the argument.
You get the opportunities when you play for a big club.
Exactly.
True, man.
But I like the fact that you had people like Ian Wright, for example, coming out after the Liverpool game going, he's got to go.
Yeah, why is he not in the squad?
Yeah, you've got to put him in the squad.
Isn't that embarrassing for Southgate then when you've got to play people like that saying he has to go?
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit.
It is when it looks like you listened.
Yeah.
And I think Gareth Southgate, he's done this weird thing of like, didn't he fly over to Ajax to watch Jordan Henderson and like, okay, Jordan Henderson, yeah, I get it, you pick him quite a lot and he's one of your players, but are you making a big deal out of it? Making a big deal of
you know what you're getting with Henderson.
when you've got all these players playing that you haven't really watched.
I think when he flew over to go and watch that game, or it could have been another game.
I think I know where you're going, but keep going.
Someone was like, there was like 17 English players involved in a game.
That's what I'm thinking of. You're right.
Yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but there were 17 English players involved in this game, and he's flown over there to watch him play.
To watch a player who he's seen hundreds of times.
That's always been a strange thing about Southgate, his sort of loyalty as well. Obviously with Maguire when he wasn't playing well at United, we're still getting picked up, and you were talking about Phillips there and stuff. He likes his sort of stock players.
I don't mind it to a certain degree, because I think you have to have a little bit of a core in international football. You can't just constantly change it like the entire 11 based on form, because it just won't work. You have to have a few that you go, okay, no matter what, Pickford's my keeper, Rice is in my midfield, Kane starts, whatever. But I think there's so many players like Henderson, like Phillips, who aren't that undroppable.
The periphery players, you know what I think.
Like there's some that you go, well, if he's having a stinker for his club, or if he's not got a club, or if he's he's injured or whatever, obviously he's injured, don't play, but I don't have to take him. And I think some players, like if they're fit, for me, like Luke Shaw, if he's fit, plays.
Yeah.
He just does. John Stones plays if he's fit. Probably Maguire.
Yeah, I think nothing reinforced that like Chilwell's performances in the last 2 games.
And this is the weird thing, because people hate United so much. They try and jump on another player other than a United player and go, Chilwell's the answer. And then you see him play for England, you go, okay, yeah. Well, forget Mainoo, Conor Gallagher's the answer. Oh, shit, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you get found out when you start watching him, because I thought, even Gordon didn't impress me. Like, I thought he was okay.
People didn't understand tweeting at whatever point in the game it was, the 70th minute, whenever it was.
Yeah.
I was tweeting during the game, and I tweeted Gallagher and Chilwell Gordon and Gallagher have stunk the place out. Yeah. And people were like, what about Chilwell? But Chilwell wasn't taken off at the moment I fucking tweeted, mate. Like, I'm tweeting because that's what's happened.
I'm going to go at you. Not for criticising players, but for the ones you've not criticised.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well,
how dare you miss that?
Yeah, how dare you?
And then they flipped it to, but because they came off for United players, that was obviously me inferring that United players were going to be... And Rashford did fuck all when he came on. I can't tweet that at the time that he comes on, though, can I?
Why couldn't you sell the future?
And then the only other player that there was one more player I criticised and one more player I praised. And the player that I criticised was Maguire, because I was like, why does he always have to pass it behind the player that he's passing it to?
Yeah, I saw that tweet actually.
And then the one that I praised was Bowen. I was like, I love how direct he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's the most dangerous player on the pitch for me.
It's really weird when people moan at you for not criticising players, or for just like, what about this one, or what about this? I can't look for the entire squad. Just allow me to just pick on the ones or not pick on the...
Yeah, I feel like tweeting at the time that I tweeted. Yeah. I'm sorry that didn't align with what you wanted from me. As always, this episode of Off the Bar is brought to you by Green King Sport, where football is more than just a game.
The league season is entering the business end, or squeaky bum time, as Fergie used to call it, and Green King Sport venues are showing every single televised United game during the running. It doesn't matter where you're based in the UK. There's over 900 sports venues for Greene King Sport where you can go and watch the action.
Football is best enjoyed with your mates, so if you're not at the ground this month, get a text in the group chat and head to your local Greene King Sports venue to catch the game. Don't forget to download the Greene King Sport app to enjoy an exclusive competition and discounts whenever there's a game on.
So go and check out the Greene King Sport app. There's a link in the description.
What do you reckon to Rashford's form this year and then going into the Euros? Do you think he still goes?
There's a story this morning, and you got to be careful now, because you remember when like different newspapers had back pages from different journalists? Now all the newspapers have the same back page based on one journalist, and I think it was Jeremy Cross who's got himself on the back page of about 4 papers, saying that Marcus Rashford, his place in the squad is under threat.
Why is his place under threat when
well?
nobody else is picked on form, seemingly?
Yeah, and also with Rashford,
Sterling was not while he was playing, or not even playing. Wasn't it?
No, he was in and out of the City team, I think, when he was still getting picked. But going back to Rashford, he's not having a great season. I've said that a million times on the channel, but he's still scored against Arsenal, scored against Liverpool, scored against City. He's still got a relatively decent record.
His numbers aren't horrendous this season.
They're not. And it's like, also, when you factor in the fact that for England, since he's made his debut, his goal-scoring record for England is quite good. Like, it's not amazing, but it's decent. And he's had that experience. And he's someone that Gareth Southgate doesn't start. I don't think he starts in any major tournament since he's broke into the squad. But he's a decent squad option. Then I think he should go.
But I've spoken about this a couple of times on a couple of videos, so I won't go over too much. But just to fill you lot in, I see Southgate at the moment sort of zigzagging between the assets that he's got, because he's got some really good sort of direct assets.
Yeah.
And then the tiki-taka style that everyone seems to praise the most.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He could pick a team. He could go with Duncan Stones, and he could go with Foden, and he could go with a team that can play like a possession-based style. But Harry Kane's going to be his number 9. Harry Kane does not lead the line as a number 9. He comes and operates in the space a little bit. So he's going to sort of tread on Jude's toes a little bit if he comes into the 10, or certainly on Foden's if he comes into the 10. Whereas the way Manchester City play, because if you said, right, England are going to try and replicate what City do, because we've got half of their players, we can try and do that. Okay, but their striker's always in the box. That's where he is.
Kane likes to drop a bit, doesn't he?
Kane's got great sort of playmaking ability, so he's going to come and playmake. So if you have a striker that's coming off and playmaking, well, you have to have direct wingers. So this is where Bowen, Saka and Rashford should be 2 of your 3 wingers. If you have Kane coming off and dropping off and Foden, you've just made it the easiest day for the opposition defence ever. They go, right, so 2 of us are going to mark Saka or Bowen because he's going to be the in-behind threat, and we'll just step up.
Yeah.
And then let them play there, and we'll get them 10 yards away from our box. And that's the problem, is that they're not thinking about how they can strategically use the assets they've got. This is Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes again. They go, oh, Foden's got great numbers, he's got to play. But does he fit what you're trying to do as a team? What's the pros and cons of every... Like, I know Dunk had a fucking stinker. For me, I would play him. If I want to hold possession, I play him alongside Stones, and I'm able to play out all the time then. If we're not going to do that, we're not going to do that. We're just going to be direct. We defend the box, Harry Maguire's in them, because that's what he's for. So you've got to decide, what are you going to do? And unfortunately, you can't be in both lanes at the same time. And that's what I feel like he hasn't got the bollocks to commit to a lane, and that's why you end up sort of straddling, and then you don't have a defined style of play.
Do you find he's more of a pragmatic manager in that sense, isn't he? Like, he'll set up not to sort of annihilate the opposition, but rather not to get beat. I don't
even know if he does that.
Yeah,
I think
very tepid, isn't it?
He is tepid.
Shit, yeah.
And also,
and his rumours even going to Liverpool. So
we'll get into
what though.
So in fact,
I reckon I could finish on that.
Let me get into that. Let me ask you then, right? Do you see it happening? Do you see any scenario where Gareth Southgate, either of you, ends up as the manager of Liverpool? I know we want it to happen for the reasons that are obvious.
Yeah, because he's got this weird sort of narrative around him that he's been a success, despite the evidence.
I know.
So, like, there is a narrative that he was a success for England and isn't he a good old boy and all this fucking nonsense. So he creates a great environment. Oh.
Yeah, because it's like, if you look at, say you just had a piece of paper and it just gives you what he's done in major tournaments, where he's got to, and you go, semi-final of the World Cup. Okay, good, decent.
Ruby.
Final, I know. This is what I'm saying. You've got final of the
Panama,
final of the Euros.
Penalties.
Oh yeah, final of the Euros. Yeah, okay, decent. Yeah, quarter-final of the World Cup, get beat by France. All right, but then you look at it, you go, we got to a semi-final of the World Cup, and I think Colombia on penalties without James Rodriguez was our toughest test. We got to a final of the Euros where we played a pretty poor Germany side. That was probably our best result.
Germany were, I think, ranked lower than both Denmark and Croatia.
Probably the worst Germany team in history.
That was like the big marquee sort of result, and it was.
And we were at home.
Yeah.
And we 1-0 up after a minute.
Yeah. Same against Italy as
well.
Yeah,
Italy were.
So what's his tactics? Like, if you're going with a guy that's going to be sort of defensive first, like, get me one that can actually get you over the line.
Yeah.
Then
it's weird. He hasn't got one. He
hasn't
got. I don't think you can give him a style and you go, okay, he plays this style. He plays possession-based football. Or
name a game he's done something tactically where you went and won a game. Name me one. I'll give you a fucking £100 right now if you can name it.
Actually,
go on.
There was a time at Middlesbrough in 2000 when he managed to get a draw against Ipswich. I'm making up. I don't know. There isn't one still. Not that I can think of. I mean, as you always say, he's the only manager I know who's been relegated both at an international level and a club level. It's like a bit of
consistent.
Is it consistent? But
take Liverpool down, and I will build you a statue.
But this is the thing, though. I think if he actually did a madness in the Euros, if he won it or got to the final again,
right. If he wins it, he didn't win it.
No, that's what I mean, though. But if if Jude Bellingham and Kobbie Mainoo and Harry Kane or whatever win the Euros, then there might be a scenario where Liverpool go, okay.
I might not survive this
I know.
summer.
I would love
that. Imagine, like, Klopp leaves, they get Southgate in, and we get our act together. City get done for their 115 charges, and the world's our oyster.
Ethan, just Google, can I wank in public?
Yeah. Like, it could happen. Because he has a great PR around him. The same reason that I was worried that maybe...
It might come with us.
Yeah, but I don't think Ineos will do that. I think Ineos are a bit more on the ball than, is it FSG?
It's going to be slim pickings in the summer, though. I think we mentioned it a couple of times. In terms of how many managers are going to go around Europe. Barcelona are looking for someone. Bayern are looking for someone.
Liverpool looking for someone. I think if you look at the candidates as well, Alonso's the one.
Chelsea probably be looking for one.
Yeah, they always do, don't they? Alonso's the obvious standout. What he's done at Leverkusen. I think he'll end up at Bayern, mate.
Bayern went public early, which either means that it's because they think they'll get him or they're worried they won't.
Yeah.
That's what the comments were when Bayern said. Was it's the old CEO of Bayern?
It's not Rummenigge, is it?
No, it's a different one. But he basically whoever's there now said we're not making any comments because we're respecting the contract. And he said that Alonso is apparently wanted by a few other clubs around Europe, so we might not be the only ones.
So we're fucking marking our cards, basically.
Yeah, there's rumours Ancelotti might be out as well at Real Madrid.
Yeah. Like,
so actually, he's got like all of his old clubs looking for a manager, and I bet they've all knocked on his door.
Yeah, because I imagine I don't think this nonsense about having a year out. If I'm Jurgen Klopp and you're seeing them clubs available, do you know what to move from Merseyside to Madrid? I'd say that.
Do you know what? Because they're having this absolute wankathon farewell tour.
Yeah.
And then he gets unveiled.
Following day.
I love it.
Real Madrid hat on.
Dream scenario. He finishes.
Because they'll hate him.
Yeah.
They'll switch on so fast.
100%. Like, he finished. I love it. He finished the season just winning the Carabao Cup. And then
thanks, Jurgen. It's been fucking brilliant, lads. Yeah. And then it's like, what do you mean he's gone to Real Madrid?
The next thing
he said he was having a year off.
Yeah.
Rage. No rage like Scouse rage.
No, the burning Jurgen Klopp shirts. Like, we've seen all that before with Suarez.
And all their big fucking wordy flags.
I love the pictures where you've got like some bloke in a garden with his 85-year-old grandma holding a flag like
and a flag that's got 4 paragraphs on it. Fucking turn it in, you fucking wordy gobshites. Honestly, no one's reading all that.
They're so proud of them flags as well. I had a debate with Scousefulls on like BT Sports, and he was bragging about his flags. Like, they were saying, like, we've got the flags.
Yeah.
I'm like, who brags about like
people who haven't won the Premier League in a long time?
Like, we're really good at knitting. Like, what are you on about, bro? Like, shut up. Yeah, I can't wait for it. I hope that does happen. I don't want to see Alonso.
So Alonso to Bayern, Klopp
Anfield.
to Munich. Sorry, Alonso to Bayern, Klopp to Madrid, Southgate to Liverpool.
That's the dream scenario, isn't that?
Yeah, fucking have that.
I mean, yeah, that would be great.
City get charged and Pep goes, I need another sabbatical because I'm not having that all over my contract.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went before all that comes out,
Who, Pep? Yeah. I don't think he won't one more season, max.
Because they're talking of at the end of next season, aren't they? So I think like next season might be his last. I know that might be wishful thinking, but I think he might go, look, If I wait and then they get done and I go, right,
They
I'm
could
leaving
put
now.
Sean Dyche in charge. He's winning something with
No,
City.
they still are. They won 2 titles before Pep got there. People forget that. They were in the semi-final of the Champions League 3 months before he arrived.
Yeah, Pellegrini won a title and then couldn't get West Ham in the top half, I don't think.
No, you're right. I mean, they had to bring David Moyes back in to take over from Pellegrini because that's how well it was going there. So you're right. They will have success, but losing Pep's going to hurt him. It will, and it'll be funny as well. But I think he might go before the...
I wonder where he goes next.
Spain,
he'll probably have a year off.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Spanish job, won't it? Maybe back to Barcelona.
He has that Catalonia thing, though.
Barcelona definitely need to fucking sort themselves out, but they are doing a madness financially. Like,
or them leavers. Where are they up to? Them have they got any left?
I don't think. Who knows? Found a lever down the couch. We're gonna pull it.
Pull a lever. Though, basically, we've cashed in all our TV rights for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like what? I'll give you. Don't worry about
it. Turns
that.
out if we hit a quarter final, we owe them money. Like. For the next 25 years.
Hey, honestly, it's crazy.
Do you know what? It makes Factory Records look like a really solid
well-run
organisation. We don't own anything. The artists own it all.
Yeah.
Literally, that's Barcelona. What do we own? We got some footage of Messi.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't. We sold that.
He owns that. We sold it back to him. It's crazy. Honestly, they make United look well run. Brentford on the horizon.
Yep.
Are you worried?
Not really, no.
Nah.
I think we should, after the game against Liverpool, that we should take that as some momentum to go on and have a decent end to the season. But it's Brentford, though, innit? 4-0 last season.
Brentford are a weird team.
I know, but they've not won in 5. Is that right?
Can we have a look at that? Can we get the stats for?
I don't think they've won in 5. But last time when they came to Old Trafford, we needed a McTominay, magic in the last minute, didn't we? They did us 4-0.
There's a sentence you never, or 2 words you never usually put together.
They did a 4-0. Did it back us 4-0 in this fixture last season.
Yeah.
I just hope there's not too many tired legs come off the back of an international break.
I know. And we don't know yet who's going to be available, obviously. But
we've not had many injuries, have we? I don't think. I've not read since. And we've not had too many injuries come back off the international break.
Martinez is in training.
Yeah, which is unlike United, though, isn't it? Because we usually get stuck.
Martinez being back. I don't reckon he makes this one. But I reckon he's back after that. So was it Chelsea midweek?
And then Liverpool, is it?
I reckon you don't see him till Liverpool.
Sorry, it was up there. It was. Yeah, you're right. Last 5 games, they've lost 4 and drawn 1. So
the dual win then.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. What are you thinking about this one? Are you feeling confident or?
I don't know. I think we're still threadbare, man.
We are defensively, especially.
Did I imagine Johnny Evans announced his retirement midweek or?
What?
I hope not.
What?
I said that on a video this week.
Can we just Google Johnny Evans' retirement just to have a little?
What his contract situation? He's had a good season.
He's been great this season.
He's had a really good season.
I said this on a video the other day. I saw something, and I'm thinking, is this like the summer when we were selling everyone that he had a year deal, and he didn't, but he did, but no one else knew.
Yeah.
Well, you saw him, didn't you, in San Diego, and even he seemed a bit like.
When we saw him in San Diego, we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because we was like, hey, what's happening? He was like, I don't know.
That's why
I came to train. Oh, not set to retire.
If I was him, I wouldn't.
What's Rudin?
Yeah, I don't know what his contract situation is.
Considering the summer, I imagine we're going to lose some of the centre backs.
Would you give Evans another deal?
I'd definitely give him.
Right, yeah, I'm not even a fucking discussion for me.
Steve's right with the sort of with threadbare, and I think one of the problems is how many shots we're taking. I think we're 3rd highest in the league, aren't we? Behind the likes of Luton, like 17 shots against us.
About as good for you.
Yeah, we've got no left back as well, have we? We've got Luke Shaw's still out. He's unknown, I think, his return, which whatever that means.
Wan-Bissaka at left back again.
Yeah. What do you think Ten Hag learned from the or the United team learned from the Liverpool game that they'll take into the Brentford game? Because what I saw, I absolutely loved how chaos it was, and I sometimes think.
We thrive in it, maybe.
Yeah, but I think so, and that's. I hate to go back to the whole United DNA, but there was such that cavalier. Fuck it.
Was it 1994?
Yeah,
well done. 94's more accurate.
Yeah, but it was like that. You know what? We're just going to go for it. If we get beat, we get beat. And I think maybe Ten Hag's had the handbrake on too much trying to play this sort of football. Whereas I think sometimes the heart and emotion of the players will get you over the line. Because that there was no strategy. Every pundit after the game was like, I don't know how you're going to assess that. I'm like, I don't care. We won.
Was it Antony, Bruno, and Diallo or something?
Yeah, we had Bruno playing like sort of a centre half-ish.
Harry Maguire had gone up front.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd watch that over City's tic-tac, and this might sound like a bit of red, but I'd watch that football all day long over the like tiki-taka football.
My fucking heart rate was about 170 in the bastard.
Mate, it was crazy. That it was so.
Do you know what I mean? But do you not think Ten Hag's learned anything from that to sort of say, just go for it, lads?
I doubt it.
But do you know what?
I doubt it.
I'd love it if we did.
Yeah, but
the first half an hour was our best football. Liverpool couldn't play out against us.
No.
I hope he's learned that.
That's
I hope he's learned, actually, if we press the way we just press Liverpool, who are good at playing out, if you press like that, you win the ball back. How many times do you see it not quite get to the halfway line and it's like United are in possession?
Yeah.
And then we're on the attack again. Like, that's how we want to play football, I think. I think that's what he wants to implement. So if he goes, okay, we did that for half an hour. You did that for 45 against Brentford. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I think you can do that.
Yeah.
You'll be 1 or 2-0 up.
Yeah, no,
and
I
then,
agree.
And then you can allow them. I know you don't want to allow them, but look, ultimately, Premier League teams are going to trade, being on top in a game.
Yeah, of course they are, especially away from home.
Yeah, even if it's only 20% of the game they're on top, they will be on top at some point in the game. How are you going to deal with that? Well, if we're 2-0 up, then we just fucking shut up shop, don't we? And we ride it out, and then we get back on the ball and we start to play our game again. If you can do 30 minutes against Liverpool, because honestly, we deserved to be goals up, not just a single goal up. If you can do that against Liverpool, then you can make room and get a couple of goals up against Brentford.
Yeah, no, I agree. That makes sense, because I think the last sort of half an hour or whatever it was, you can't replicate that, I think, in any other game. Because like you're saying, 69,000 berserk United fans behind you, the adrenaline's going, you've just gone, everyone just go for it. Antony scoring a goal, Diallo just tearing them apart. Like, these are things that you can't bank on every week. But it was just phenomenal.
And I've been critical of this for the people who are sort of saying are the players behind the manager. That was evident in that performance, wasn't it?
Oh my God,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
he's lost the dressing room.
No, has it? Someone needs to tell him that then, or tell them that then, because they would not one player would give up.
No.
Everyone, even when was it Elliot who scored for him or whatever it was, when they went 3-2 up, and obviously Marcus has missed that chance, which actually was offside, but still, you think, this is it. We're gonna, we're going out, whatever.
Take some digging to come up and do that in the manner we did. Do you think Ahmad has played his way, or he's banned anyway in this, so he won't be featuring in this game?
That's the best red card. Is that the best red card ever, that?
Him or Ollie's against Newcastle.
Oh, that's a good shout. That was so good, that one. It was so funny as well. I've
Roy
never
Keane's
seen it
against Southgate for different reasons.
Yeah, obviously. But that, the fact that he was just stood there, he took ages to walk down the tunnel, in front, just I'll just
just fucking milk the shit out of me just scoring the winner in this.
As everyone was cheering him, the next thing he's just waiting basically, and he came running back up as soon as the final whistle went. But it was so good that I was just panicking because obviously play restarted and you're thinking, right, just blow your whistle now. And then I was watching the ref and he's not got the whistle in his mouth, and I'm thinking, fucking no, don't concede, no.
Do you think that's give Ten Hag more of a thinking about how to use Ahmad as well? Because before that there was rumours that he might be leaving in the summer and stuff. But he's not had a fair crack this season, I don't think. Considering how some of the players haven't been hitting form.
It's difficult with Diallo because I think every United fan you spoke to, I've not really spoken to you properly about it, you might be different, but it's gone get him in the team, give him a chance, he's better than Antony. And you think the manager must have a reason for not picking him. We don't know what's going on in training, we don't know what's going on with the conversations, we don't know what's going on in terms of him listening to the manager or whatever. There must be a reason why he's not for me yet.
Yeah.
And maybe he was just holding him back a bit. Maybe he's thinking you weren't quite maybe mentally ready or whatever. And hopefully now we can see a bit more of him because there's a player there. We know there's a player there. And I remember when we first got him, we spoke to Romano, who obviously covers a lot of Italian football, and was saying everyone at Atalanta who trained with him was rapping about how good he was. And he thought United had done well to get him in early because he said he would have ended up going to Juventus or whatever. But we've not really seen much of United with some. Is at Sunderland, at Rangers. Rangers wasn't great. Sunderland a lot better. But now I just want to see him sort of given a chance and hopefully shows what he's about. Can I ask you that question then about Antony? Has that changed anything that game when it comes to Antony?
Yes, that he does have a right foot. That was it. I still don't think he's good enough for United.
I'm kind of in that camp. What about you?
I'd have scored that.
That's just, I think that's,
I scored a similar goal against Grey Horse about 2005, actually.
Which Grey Horse?
What?
Which Grey Horse?
The one that was really good. Sunday League lot. That was just fucking smashing everything.
Right, okay,
so in many cases, yours was probably better.
I mean, what? I've got quarter final against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool, with injuries. The Grey Horse. Well, I'll let you lot decide. Just one final thing. I just wanted to ask you, we've been linked with a lot of players. Keep hearing this thing about Jean-Claude Todibo. I know you've done a scout report on him without even checking. I know you have. Will it happen? Do we need him? Is he good enough?
I'd like it to happen because then it proves that we're doing a little bit of under the table shit, doesn't it? And I'm all about that. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And City tried really hard.
Yeah, I think it'll be a perfectly legitimate transfer with a player that, wants to come to the club. They're happy to sell him us, and we want him. Nothing to do with Sir Jim Ratcliffe whatsoever owning Nice. What do you reckon?
Get him in, man.
I don't know. I sometimes watch these YouTube channels and players' names are banded at people and said, "What's your opinion on this player?" I don't know anything about him.
That's the sort of input that I bring to this channel, Scotty. To be honest, that's why I'm mates with him.
I'm not going to lie.
Steve's on a scout report. Go and watch Steve's channel if you want to know about him. Don't ask me. I can tell you his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get involved in the comments because I don't know. Yeah, but if you're rating...
Nah, he's good as a leader. He's got a bit of character about him as well, which I think is really important.
Is he left or right?
Maybe right side.
And I think he's...
Because Martinez is the one in it. If we keep him fit...
Are you worried about him, though, given this sort of 2 seasons now with the
injuries?
Not yet. If I third...
Nah, not yet. If it's another season...
Yeah.
I do feel a little bit with Martinez.
Get Brian Robson vibes.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit like almost lightning did strike twice. He was very unlucky against Sevilla with that injury, and then he obviously wasn't fit when he came back. And then against West Ham, someone fell on him. Like it's not like he just broke down. Sometimes you pull up and you go, oh, he's broke down again. He literally, a heavy player fell on his knee awkwardly, which injured him.
Semi-deliberately as well.
Yeah,
knob.
Yeah, it's just not quite clear cut enough for me to go full turbo outrage.
No, not yet. I think, and the nightmare is he's so good.
I know.
Oh man,
he is.
He isn't he? He's like he just makes us tick as well, doesn't he? He's so vital to the way we want to play. And what's he like? Onana to him to Mainoo to.
It's more than it's just
It's
more than just his technical ability as well. It's like his presence and his sort of. I'm crashing into everything, and that sort of infectious.
Gets everyone going. He's good with his teammates. Good with the crowd. Just he's got the lot.
Mate, that was it. Vallecano, the friendly at Old Trafford. I literally watched him there and went, "Oh, he's a cult hero."
Yeah. You could see it straight away, couldn't you?
I love that. I love it like at the end of the game where he runs around just pushing all his own teammates and just shouting at everyone.
I can't recall, especially in the last 10 years, United making a signing that a player's come so close to United fans' hearts immediately.
Oh, it was immediate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of a player.
No, not like in that way. Like Bruno scored loads of goals when he arrived. Everyone loved him because of it, and that's a different kind of thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you saying with Martinez, it felt more like a cult hero status of this is the kind of guy we love and we've been missing as well. I remember the Liverpool game at Old Trafford because I thought he played well in the Brighton game. When we lost the Brighton game, and he was getting
the opening game of the season.
Yeah, and I thought he did all right. I thought it's not his fault we lost. And then after the Brentford game, he was getting a lot of stick. But that Liverpool game, I thought he was immense, and I thought the way he was sort of chatting to his teammates, the crowd, everything about him. Was it Milner or whoever kicked off with him, and he was just like. He's fallen off. It was just there. It's just what you want to see. Listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Scotty, always a pleasure.
Cheers,
go and check out Mancunians, the book. It's still out in it. Bookstores.
Still out, yeah. Paperback out on July the 3rd, actually.
Yeah, it's got some good chapters there. But all the chapters are good.
Some good chapters.
Especially the ones, some are better than others, though. The ones that feature me and Steve are the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Yeah, I mean, but it's all good. Yeah, go and check that out. A big thank you to Green King Sport as well, sponsoring this podcast. Steve, what have you got coming up on your channel?
Stuff and that.
I like the fact you added in that. Good lad. Yes, that's been Stephen Howson. That's been Dave Scott. This has been Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport. I've been Jay Motty. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.